everyone, welcome to Ecoholics. In this video, we will be discussing numericals based on perfect competition model. So this is a question. But before solving this question, let's understand few basic concepts. So what is perfect competition? What is perfect competition? Perfect competition is said to exist when there are large number of producers or sellers selling homogeneous product. So there are two keywords, that is we have large number of sellers and they sell homogeneous products. Now, these are the two conditions for perfect competition to exist. Now, let's understand when a firm will be in equilibrium. So, what are the conditions for firm to be in equilibrium in case of perfect competition? So, basically, we have two conditions. First, MC is equal to MR is equal to price. So, this is our first condition where MC is marginal cost and MR is marginal revenue. Now, our second condition is MC curve must cut the MR curve from below. So when these two conditions are satisfied, we say that firm is in equilibrium in case of perfect competition. But let's also represent this situation graphically. So now on the y-axis we have revenue and cost, and on the x-axis we have output. We all know that in case of perfect competition, we have a perfectly elastic demand curve. Why do we have a perfectly elastic demand curve now? Because in case of perfect competition, we have large number of sellers selling homogeneous product and therefore they do not have any control over the price. What they can only do is they can just sell any amount of output at the prevailing price. And how are we going to represent this graphically? So we have a perfectly elastic demand curve, and the firm can sell any amount of output at the prevailing market price. So this becomes equal to AR is equal to MR is equal to P. Now the next question would be why AR and MR is equal to P. So first, in our previous videos on mathematical economics, we have studied that AR is equal to total revenue by Q. And what is total revenue? We have total revenue is equal to price into quantity. And therefore, our AR becomes equal to P into Q divided by Q. So, AR is equal to P. Now, let's also understand why our MR is equal to P. So now, what is MR? MR is the change in total revenue. So, the formula for MR is delta TR upon delta Q. And we know that total revenue is equal to price into quantity. But in case of perfect competition, we know that price is given. So we have a prevailing price. The firm can sell any amount of output at the prevailing price only. Because if the firm tries to sell his output at a price slightly above the prevailing price, he will lose all his customers to his rivals. So therefore, P is given in case of perfect competition. Therefore, when we find the change, MR is equal to P into delta Q divided by delta Q. And therefore, MR is equal to P in case of perfect competition. I hope you understand this now. Now, the next step would be our short-run marginal cost curve. Now, in this case, we have, let's say, 2 points, A, and we have other point as B. So, we can see that at point A, our MC is equal to MR, but a second condition, that is MC curve must cut the MR curve from below. But here, the MC curve cuts the MR curve from above. This. So, our second order condition is not followed when we at point A. Whereas at point B, we have MC is equal to MR, this point. Also, our second order condition which states that MC curve must cut the MR curve from below. So here, this MC curve cuts MR curve from below. So these both conditions are satisfied at B and not at point A. So this becomes our firm's equilibrium. In case of perfect competition. Also, this is the point where the firm earns maximum profit. And not this. A is not a profit maximizing point, because if the firm produces output beyond point A, we see that our marginal revenue is greater than marginal cost. So, producing output beyond point A, the firm can increase its output. So, A is not a profit maximizing point. Understanding these basic concepts, now let's look at an example. Now, our question is, in a city, there are a large number of firms selling a product and no single firm has any control over the price of the product. The following total revenue and cost functions are given for a single seller. So we have total revenue as 10Q and we have total cost as 1000 plus 2Q plus 0.01 Q square. Determine how many units of the product a firm will produce per annum if it aims at profit maximization. Also find out the total profits made by it in the equilibrium situation. So we need to find total profits as well. Now, in a question it is given that there are large number of firms and it is also given that there is no single firm which has any control over the price. As we have discussed that these two conditions are perfect competition. So basically, we need to find equilibrium situation in case of perfect competition. Now, we have अरे यार रुको इसको कर देती हूँ. So we have total revenue as 10Q and we have total cost as 1000 plus 2Q plus 0.01 Q square. So what all things are given in our question? It is a perfect competition and our total revenue is 10Q and total cost is 1000 plus 2Q plus 0.01 Q square. Now, we have studied that in case of perfect competition, for a firm to be in equilibrium, two conditions should be satisfied. Our first condition was marginal cost should be equal to marginal revenue, and second condition is MC curve must cut MR curve from below. These were the two conditions for firm to be in equilibrium in case of perfect competition, and these were also the condition for profit maximization. So, profit maximizing conditions. So, let's first calculate marginal cost and marginal revenue. Now, we have total revenue as 10Q. We are going to find marginal revenue now. So, our marginal revenue is delta TR upon delta Q. So, basically, we need to differentiate TR with respect to Q. So, what do we get as differentiating TR with respect to Q? So, we have 10 into, let's say, so we have 10 into differentiation of Q. Using our power function rule, that is, when y is equal to x raised to n, then dy by dx is equal to nx raised to n minus 1. So this is our power function rule now. So using this power function rule, what do we get is 10 into q raised to 1 minus 1. So n in this case is 1. So 1 minus 1 gives us 0. So what we get is 10 because q raised to 0 is 1. Now similarly, we'll also calculate our marginal cost. So our total cost is 1000 plus 2q plus 0.01 q squared. So this is our total cost. Marginal cost will be equal to now we need to differentiate total cost with respect to q. So this becomes our addition rule of differentiation. So our addition rule of differentiation states that when y is equal to u plus v dy by dx is equal to du by dx plus dv by dx. So this becomes an addition rule of differentiation and we are going to use this. So now what do we get is our marginal cost is equal to now differentiation of 1000. We know that derivative of a constant term is always 0. So we have this as 0 plus now differentiation of 2q, that is 2 into 1. So we have seen that differentiation of q is equal to 1. So this becomes 1 plus 0.01 into differentiation of q square. Now using our power function rule, in this case we have n is equal to 2. So 2q raised to 2 minus 1 is 1. So now our MC is 2 into 1 is 2 plus 0.01 into 2 is 0.02q. So now we get our marginal revenue as 10 and marginal cost as 2 plus 0.02q. So our marginal revenue is 10 and our marginal cost is 2 plus 0.02q. This MR is 10 and MC is 2 plus 0.02q. Now we have studied that our profit maximizing condition is MC is equal to MR. Now we are going to equate this. So our profit maximizing condition is MC should be equal to MR. Now our MR is 10 and our MC is 2 plus 0.02q. So now we are going to find Q. So 0.02 Q is equal to 10 minus 2 is 8. And therefore our Q becomes equal to 8 upon 0.02. So this becomes equal to 800 by 2, that is equal to 400. So our Q is equal to 400. We need to find how many units of the product a firm will produce per annum if it aims at profit maximization. So we got the answer as Q is equal to 400. Now the second part of question is also find out the total profits made by the firm in the equilibrium situation. Now we all know that our profits are equal to total revenue minus total cost. So now we are going to solve this part in our next slide. So we have profits as total revenue minus total cost. So our total revenue is equal to price into quantity, and we have seen that our Q is equal to 400. So our Q is equal to 400, and what was given is, in our question it was given that our total revenue is equal to 10Q. So this was given. Now therefore what do we get is total revenue is equal to 10 into Q is our, so Q is 400. So total revenue is 4,000. So we get total revenue as 4,000. Similarly, we are also going to calculate total cost. Now it was given that, now it's given that total cost is equal to 1000 plus 2Q plus 0.01 Q square. So this was given in our question. Now our Q is equal to 400. Substituting Q is equal to 400, what we get is total cost is equal to 1000 plus 2 into 400 plus 0.01 into 400 square. Now, therefore, our total cost becomes equal to 1000 plus 2 4s are 8, so 800 plus this term gives us 1600. Now what do we get is total cost is equal to 1800 plus 1600, and therefore we get total cost as 3400. So substituting total cost as 3400 and total revenue as 4000, what we get is, we get our total profits. So this becomes equal to 600. So we get total profits as 600. We have found out the units of a product that a firm will produce if it aims at profit maximization, and we have also found out the total profits made by him in the equilibrium situation. So this completes our answer. So this was Q is equal to 400 and profits is equal to 600. So this completes our answer. In our next video, we will be discussing another numerical on perfect competition model. So do like and subscribe our channel. Thank you.